How are you ever going to change if somebody can't make fun of you? And we're going to have to move the mirror back a little bit this way and then the plant that way. It's like this weird juxtaposition because it's like life should be pleasant and easy. But why then is it that I hate people that go to Disney World? You want a good balance. You want to be a balanced person. You want to actually be able to think, and you also want to be able to laugh at yourself. Sorry. I love to make fun of stuff. And it's really getting hard to laugh at others. he knew that he wanted people to notice it. Not really so much from a business standpoint of he just likes cool stuff. Eric O'Brien is really patient. He didn't pressure me to be done and gave me complete freedom of what I wanted to put on here and what I wanted to do. First, he wanted to do maybe an Irish theme. I showed him a garden, an English garden that I had painted, so we were kind of headed that direction. And then all of a sudden he changed gears and said, "Do you think people will notice that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, maybe, but we could do something a little stranger." So we have things like Noah's Ark and Jonah and the Whale and a schooner, just kind of little Easter eggs all over the thing. I don't want to be offensive to the flat earth people, but kind of. So I put a car in front of the globe, and the car has flat tires.
Did you ever get thirsty while you were doing this project?
Yes, I did, but they sell water. Hold on a second. They sell water across the street at TJ's, so I was well hydrated mostly through the whole thing. When I'm painting, I forget to eat, I forget to drink, I forget to primarily think of anything else. I kind of get lost in whatever it is I'm doing.
Green and gold. It's probably inside.
Yeah, it is. You want keys? You got keys. Started in November. Of course, we had a couple of months of planning. A lot of times when you're doing murals, the heavy end of it or the slow end of it is knowing where your openings are, your doors, your windows, your electrical boxes. You're going to get to the building and you're going to realize that you've made some mistakes.
Oh! No, it's
Because there's distortion in the original photograph. We come in at night and project it, and we go ahead and have paint. We use latex paint first so that you can cover it up if you've made mistakes. And then you block it in, put blocks of color in, and then you come back in with detail and clean up your lines, make your lines straight. It's kind of like a huge paint by number project. I have no idea how many hours I have in this because once you're into it, it doesn't matter. It's like when you get tired, you quit and you go home. And nobody's saying, "Why weren't you here at 10?" Like that's one of the reasons that I love doing this is that nobody's breathing down your neck and you're not having to pretend to be busy. So I try to make things life-size for the most part because it needs to be seen from the street. Sometimes you make a mistake. Rather than have to re-letter something, you extend the side of the book. So you're dealing with one color. You're not like going, "Oh, I screwed up those letters. I got to start over." You're like, no, the book just gets wider. We always try to refrain from vulgarities. put women's underwear on here because if I put men's underwear, you're like, what is that? I painted my wife on the building when she was younger. I call it Psychedelic Jane because it's from the 70s. And so now that we're entering our 70s, my wife has to tell people that work for me, now babysit him, make sure he's okay. Don't let him stand in the sun too long. Make him put on sunscreen. The time on the clocks is the date I finished, 4/12. It's the first time I've done a whole building. I've been painting signs well for 45 years, but I was terrible at it for probably the first 5 years. I was a carpenter, and a good carpenter at the time was making $6 an hour. This is like early 70s. And sign painters were making $25 an hour. When I started in this business, everything was either hand painted or screen printed. And so being a sign painter was a really good gig. And then vinyl computers hit. And for about 10 years, the pricing on all signage plummeted because you could get perfect lettering for almost nothing. So I had to go into sales. I learned to run the graphics computers. I was, putting signs up, building signs and renting cranes and stuff like that. And slowly I realized that I made a lot more money if I just painted. That's kind of what has changed is now you have to find people who want the feel of a hand-painted piece. I thought, when my generation died, that it was going to be over. And there's a lot of older guys that thought that way. And then I got on Instagram, and there's all these kids learning to do it. Some of them are like actually trying to learn the trade. Some of them are just into doing hipster stuff, which is going to look real dated in 10 years. In the 80s, all of the signs looked like chrome. And so you had to figure out how to airbrush chrome, and everything looked like a Michael Jackson album. That's kind of why I choose items that are already old. Because if I put a computer on here and the computer style changes, it looks goofy. But if I put an old typewriter on there, it's already an old typewriter. You're not losing it with the time. The most challenging part for me is getting to be climbing. I can't jump a ladder anymore. I get on the second rung of a ladder and I'm like, am I okay? Am I okay? Artists, all any of us are doing is selling time. And you don't know how much time you have. Nobody does. You don't know if you're almost through. My philosophy is don't get all heady about what you do. Enjoy what you do. Try to find something you enjoy. Try to find something that God put in your heart. But don't get all arrogant that you got to do it. not me like going, how can I be artsy and start to think like George Carlin? It's like, no, I just think like George Carlin. You're painting a wall and you're trying to make the customer happy and you're glad that he wanted you to do it, but you're also so glad when you can find a customer who gets the fact that you can make fun of what he's doing. That might endear people to you, that you're able to make fun of yourself and not worry about it. I think that the comedians understand more what's going on in our society than they always have. I mean, it's like my logo is a jester, so it's like, I get it. A comedian says they don't want to do college campuses anymore because it's like you can't say anything without angering someone. You're in the world of imagery. And you have to make an effort to not just parrot what somebody else tells you, because I don't want to believe lies.